So we'll take questions now for Tracy. I have one.
Yeah.
I always wonder about the science outreach. Is there a career path? You know, in academia, you go to high school, and you go to college,
yeah.
you grad school. So there's a path. Is there anything like that for science outreach?
I mean, it's that, right? There's not, but I mean, there's things that you can do. I mean, I think, I think for me, it's a lot of the same stuff that you would do if you want to have an academic position, right? Where you're getting experience in the lab, you're getting experience doing outreach with different programs, you network with different people, right? So the more networking opportunities that you have, you just meet people naturally, and then they get to know you and say like, oh, I have this position, or like, a lot of people don't know that there's an education outreach listserv at Berkeley. There are like 10 jobs advertised on that every day. I'm not saying they're like, you know, the most high paying yielding jobs. A lot of them are like, if you're an undergrad and want to get into that kind of job. But there's not a clear path, but I really like that about it. I really like that I don't know what I'm going to be doing, but that I'm defining that more for myself every day. Like with this position, I found that I really enjoy curriculum development. I really enjoy that challenge, and so now I'm looking at positions in the future that maybe focus a bit more on that. And I think a lot of grad students really enjoy that. Like for me, I love learning new things. I always want to be continually challenged. And for me, I really like the idea of like a next position kind of challenging me and providing me with new tools, to kind of keep going along that path. But yeah, it kind of looks like that. There's no clear way. But I like that.
Yeah. You mentioned several like fellowships and opportunities like to where you started building this.
Yeah.
Where did you find all this information? Like, does the university does it have a website that provides this information?
So, I mean, a couple of them were just advertising through grad student lists, you know, like grad student. So the fellowship was just advertised across my department. And there's actually through my department, they also had a couple of like teacher professional development summer institutions that they were looking to hire graduate students on for. So I kind of just picked up on those. But then there's also, there's a group on campus called the CEO Coalition of Education and Outreach on Berkeley campus. There's actually a huge consortium of people. And they have, I think, their monthly meetings, so you can get on the listserv, see when they're meeting next, and you'll immediately have a network of individuals, just of like general people in the Bay Area who are engaged in these types of outreach initiatives. Yeah.
So it looks like in the research that you did, you were doing statistics.
Yeah.
And so you have this strong quantitative toolkit.
Yeah.
Do you use it?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't use it as much as I would like to, I would say, and that's something that I would like. I think I have that as like a skill that I could bring to a position in the future, but I really am not using it all that much at the time. Yeah, but yeah, I would like to do that. There are definitely some things, I should say, I love my job, I love what I'm doing. There are some things I miss about my science and my research, for sure.
Right. Well, I mean, I kind of think this gets to this question about science outreach. I mean, I guess having seen people go on these windy paths,
yeah,
there's a lot of room to bring those things together.
Yeah.
I think, you know, as you get more towards policy development, that, you know, is a direction that path can take you, right?
Exactly.
Should you go that way?
Yeah, and I think, you know, it was interesting when especially when I was having this sort of crisis of identity, I guess, and idea of where I was going. I also had really great mentors that I talked to at the time, and they basically they kind of acted like a psychologist for me, and they were like, what if you, like they had me reflect on myself instead of telling me stuff. They're like, what if you actually spent your time doing in grad school? Like that will give you a window into what you actually enjoy and what you might want to pursue. And so I thought about it, I'm like, oh, I've done like a crazy amount of outreach to the point where people were kind of contacting me to, speak at like science outreach classes and things like that. And I was like, oh, I didn't think that I did a lot of this, but I guess I do. And I really like that. And I've actually prioritized that over other things in my life. And so maybe that's an indication of where I should be going career path-wise. So, yeah. Yeah.
What's the time commitment for participating in BASIS?
In BASIS, super flexible. So we try to get our teams to teach once a month. So that boils down to about 2 hours each month, because once you have the lesson and you know the lesson, a half hour for transport to the school, an hour in the classroom, and a half hour to get back to campus. So pretty flexible, but we know that our volunteer base have like crazy fluctuating schedules, and so we try to accommodate that essentially and say, hey, it would be great if you could do this much, but we don't have we have all volunteers, there's no paid work involved, so it's kind of like we'll take what we can get from our volunteers, and we're really understanding of their schedules. Yeah.
All right, let's thank Tracy once more.
Thank you.